During the launch, I hit a bird, and it hit me in the chest really hard, and it was dead. And on the final top hat, because this airtime, the bird just kind of came loose and fell to its death. Well, it was already dead.
I'm Demi, theme park YouTuber, aka Magical Hijinks.
And I'm entertainment journalist Joey Nolfi, and we've both been diagnosed with terminal theme park obsession, and we're definitely going to spread it to you on the Park Peeps podcast.
We've got years of theme park knowledge, so join us as we serve piping hot takes, park tea, offer the best travel hacks and tips, and chat with guests in the theme park space.
So sit down, buckle in, and pull up on that yellow strap while we dispatch for the Park Peeps podcast. Demi, brace yourself. In addition to welcoming the Coaster Kings as our guests later... I just realized when brace yourself, it lives in my mind as that scene in Mrs. Doubtfire. Effie, brace yourself. And I think that's why I said it that way. Demi, brace yourself. In addition to welcoming the Coaster Kings as our guests later this episode, we are officially welcoming a third permanent co-host to the show today.
Joey, I asked you a million times to not let my mom on this podcast. How dare you?
Demi, I knew I felt a kinship with you, that Laugh and Sal is your mom.
I'm not even kidding. It sounds like a less horseier version of my mom. Just add on 40 years of smoking, and that's what it sounds like.
I mean, Laugh and Sal already has character, but you just spiced her up, pure and simple. I mean, this woman... How much more interesting can she get? Laugh and Sal, a virtually ancient animatronic figure, and she will contribute, I have to say, nothing but pure joy, or depending on how you feel about incessant maniacal laughter, unyielding horror for the duration of this episode. But she does play an important role in the history of our focal subject today, a deep dive into theme park corporate evil and a timeline of the garbagification of Kennywood in my hometown of Pittsburgh.
And we're using that park's tumultuous history as of late, plus its sale to Herschend Entertainment, the owners of Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, to talk about bad things happening to good parks. For now, though, hey, Sal, so what's your favorite bathroom at Disney or Universal?
What was that, Sal? What was that? Oh, no, she's just laughing again. Demi, come get your mother. Come get your mother.
Ma, sit down. Sit down. She never stops.
Clearly, the lightning round has zero power here, so she's not going to give us anything else. We just need to smile and move on. Now, before we disparage corporations taking control of one of America's finest traditional amusement park gems and dive into Kennywood's history and future now that Herschend is in control, let's continue pulling at this thread of bad things that happen to good parks. So, Demi, what is one of the worst bad things to happen to a good park in your experience?
Okay, I think this is going to be really funny because we're going to talk with the Coaster Kings, and obviously this is going to end up being a very coaster-heavy episode, right?
Yes.
And we love coasters here, and I love coasters here too. But what's so funny is my hot take is about how Busch Gardens Williamsburg has ruined itself by leaning into being too much of a coaster park.
Oh!
Let me explain. As a child going to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I loved it because even though there was a ton of coasters, there was still a lot of other things in the parks that I was still able to do. My favorite was Dark Castle, which was a 3D haunted attraction. So good. And now is gone and has been replaced. Same, it's in the same building and the same spooky castle in Germany in the Germany section, and it's Dark Coaster. I was actually there for when they opened it, and it's fine. It's a family coaster. But that rips my heart out. And then the other thing that I really loved there was in Ireland. It used to be a 3D, attraction.
Corkscrew Hill.
Yes. And then that was changed later to a VR headset version of it.
Battle of Ire.
Yes. It wasn't as good, but it was still I love having that option. And even as someone at that point when I did it, I was still riding all the coasters. I was doing Apollo's Chariot. I was doing Verbolten as got there at that point. And as much as I love all the coasters, it just feels and now there's nothing in Ireland at all either. They only use that spot for Hollow Scream stuff, which breaks my heart that they just didn't replace it, and that they are just taking away dark castles, making a coaster. It just leaning into so much of that. It's just the park, when I went back for the first time in a few years, felt very barren to me. Like it used to feel like a very like lively park of like, it wasn't even just like those two rides. Like it just feels like there's a lot that has been taken away. And I don't even know how to understand like how to explain it other than it just felt barren. When it used to feel like very lively, there was like a lot, I feel like there was a lot more like entertainment happening. I mean, as much as like there's great entertainment over in like Fest House or whatever, but I don't know. I got there and I was just like, okay, there's nothing to break up my day really besides doing coaster. And as much as I love a coaster, it doesn't feel like that park used to feel a lot more special to me because it felt like a balance of like a coaster park and maybe something like a Disney park.
Oh yeah.
And now that's kind of gone, and it's owned by SeaWorld, and I went to SeaWorld San Diego actually not too long after going there, and like they have a lot of the same style attractions, like the dive coaster, and and it just like it all at the same time, as much as like now that park is also like totally coastered up. It's all very like, how do I explain it? It just now all feels very similar, because it's the same company too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up, is that it's like the same thing is happening to SeaWorld. I mean, it's just coaster. But I mean, those parks kind of have to evolve because they're getting less and less focused on, as we're going to talk about later, a little bit more focused on less focused on the animal elements of it for various reasons. So those parks, it's kind of more understandable. But with Busch Gardens, I fully hear you out on that. I mean, it did used to be a really unique blend with like Disney and Universal level theming, which it's still there in some ways, but it's really sort of gone downhill in many ways since the whole SeaWorldification of the whole ride line up there.
What is your hot take of the week for bad things to good parks?
Well, I will say I've been talking a lot about Cedar Point lately, and I experienced usually when I use any sort of time saver option for a line system, like I will pay whatever. I don't, except Disney Premiere. I'm not doing that.
No.
But because that is not worth it. But any other time saving thing, I will do it. Cedar Point's Fastlane made me so angry last year when I went, and I didn't even go on that crowded of a day. I was there, I think it was 2 weeks after opening, and it was really expensive. Like
How
really,
expensive?
I think it was in excess. I believe it was around 120-ish per person.
For Cedar Point? I'm sorry,
yes.
what?
Yes. And it was, I mean, the way I was it was making me so angry to the point where I was sitting there and I was counting how many people they were letting go in the standby line, and then counting how many they were letting go by in our line. They would it was working the opposite of how it's supposed to work. They were letting hordes of the regular lines through, and then they would let like 10 of the fast lane people go. And I'm like, this is the opposite of how the lightning lane system works. Like the regular, quote unquote, regular line is the one that's supposed to get stopped back, and then you let the people who have paid $120 extra go. So like Steel Vengeance had a posted, I believe, 2 hour and 20-minute standby line. We ended up still waiting. We had this fast lane. The fast lane line was maybe 3 twisties in the queue. Mm-hmm. We still waited an hour and a half. I was so pissed.
You should have got a refund. That's terrible.
I thought about it. I thought about asking them for a refund, but I was like, no. But I mean, I'm going to have to buy it again this year.
You need a Yenta with you next time you go. That's so unacceptable, especially at that. That's like Universal Express Pass prices.
Yeah. I'm hoping that maybe there were some changes to the system, and they had just, like, it was right at the start of the season, and maybe they were working out some issues and staffing, training and stuff. But it was, it made both my friend and I, who are going again in a few weeks for opening weekend. So if any of our listeners are there, feel free to say hello. I'm not a recognizable face yet, but if you listen to us, come up to me and say hello. We love our park peeps. Well,
good luck on that. I'm so excited to hear how that goes for you.
You mean buying my fast lane again?
Because I know you're going to do it.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I mean, would I rather wait 2.5 hours, or would I rather? I don't think it's going to be that crowded on opening weekend because I'm going on Sunday and Monday. So I went on Labor Day weekend last year, I think, or not Labor Day.
Yeah, it's not the right.
Or is it Memorial Day?
Memorial Day is in May.
Yeah, I went on Memorial Day weekend last year, so that was probably why. But
yeah, that's not one to go.
My friend she's gonna get a bus down from Toronto. I'm gonna scoop her up. We're gonna go. We're gonna stay there, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, and we will be getting those fast lanes. So I will report back.
I was gonna say we need a follow-up report on that, sir.
Coming in hot. Also coming in hot. Demi, the Coaster Kings are going to be turning up the heat with us in just a little bit. We're talking coasters, we're talking Kennywood, we're talking SeaWorld, we're talking Universal, we're talking Disney.
And we're talking about things that I've never even heard of that will completely shock not only me, but all of you, I'm sure. And you're definitely going to want to stay tuned and listen to us and the Coaster Kings.
Demi, you, me, and Laugh and Sal are queens in our own right, but to ensure we're having a well-rounded representation on this episode, it's about time we balance our energy out with some kings, don't you think?
As long as they have the tea brewing at the same temperature as ours, can you confirm?
Oh, Mama, they are going to give it to you. They're going to give it to me. Please welcome to the tea party to heat things up, the royally shady Coaster Kings.
Wow. That was quite the red
royally
carpet.
shady. Let me make that a tagline for the future. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Demi, for having us.
I feel so loved.
We
I'm understood.
You're here.
They're already dragging my intro.
I love it. This is genuine.
It is. You know what? I love it. That's why I wanted y'all here. It's genuine, but it's also, I mean, come on, like given our conversations in the past, like it can get shady, it can get spicy. And that's why I love you guys. You guys are always keeping it real. And it's very hard to find real people that are out there serving the tea, but also like trotting the globe, riding roller coasters all the time. Because I feel like every time I open social media, you're in different parts of the world riding a different roller coaster that I've only dreamed of riding in my life.
Seriously, it's not fair.
No.
It's okay. We're not rich or anything, guys. Don't rob us.
Yeah. We don't actually have money.
We don't actually have money.
We just fly for a living.
We stay far away. But yeah, no, it's a cute look for us, I think. Yeah.
We love it.
It definitely is. And, I wanted to bring you here because you have such strong views and opinions on roller coasters and parks around the world. And you are you're just so interesting and fun and spicy when you do it. But I must say, I'm forever haunted by the way Tokyo Disneyland's mere pavement afflicted your soul, Alex. My
hatred of Tokyo Disney.
We were dragged for that too. Oh my god. I mean, it made for good engagement, but we were dragged for that one. Yeah.
You absolutely were. Do you want to fill Demi in on your thoughts? Because Demi has also been to Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah, I was there for the opening of Fantasy Springs.
Oh, we were there too. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, not the opening itself.
We were there.
We saw that, but
okay.
Well, when did we go? We were there in September.
Yeah.
Oh, I was there 4 a.m. waiting to be let in on opening day.
Oh my god, that's
so
awesome.
great.
Okay, I need to hear about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you would agree with the following then?
About Tokyo Disneyland,
the pavement.
Tokyo Pavement Land.
Yeah, the pavement, the maroon pavement.
Because it's the parade route, but it's like an ocean of asphalt. But I'm colorblind, so for me it just kind of looks like brown or black or something. Allegedly, it's red. I will just have to take your word.
It looks red to me. Yeah.
You're right.
Or dark green.
But we walked through it, and I'm like, this is so ugly. This park is ugly, and nobody's talking about it. It is so ugly,
and there's so much space there too.
There's so much.
I'm never going to unsee that now, though.
And it's wall to wall. It's like, oh, here's a wooden wall from this themed land, and there's a wooden wall from another themed land, and from wall to wall, it's painted concrete.
It's very well maintained.
And it's pretty, but no, not even pretty. No, it's maintained.
It's not.
It's ugly but maintained.
Clean is all that it's got going for it.
let's just cut it now. We've got we.
No, I want one. I want one thing. I mean, I will say, no. The one thing though, it's clean, but like it's so pristine. Like, yes, now that I can't unsee those colors, yeah. But like, oh no, when I left there, I was like holding on for dear life. Like, don't make me go back to the U.S. parks. It's so gross compared to here.
Magic Kingdom.
So is it like pristine or is it just sterile?
Oh, that's true too.
You know, because I feel like pristine carries like it's kind of like a prestige almost,
like high quality materials and some pizzazz and some sparkle, and like
I think
Tokyo Disneyland's Parade Midway does not have sparkle.
I'm just modeling because I have nothing to add to this because I've never been to Japan.
Voguing because you've never been to Japan. That's okay.
I'm just modeling in
that's perfect.
Mickey baseball. But I should say our focus on this episode is bad things happening to good parks. So I think that also fits in line with that, obviously, judging from what you're all saying. But particularly, and I filled you in a little bit on this, so we're not coming into this totally blind, but particularly what is happening to Kennywood over the last 10 to 15 years since Parque Renito / Palace Entertainment took over in 2007, and I knew that you would have a lot to say on what has happened to this park. And this isn't the only thing we're going to be talking about, but that's the main focus of this episode.
Yeah,
so
don't worry, it's not all Kennywood.
No, it's not all Kennywood. Not all Kennywood. But I do want to start with, because it is like I don't know if it's breaking news anymore, but it is new news that Herschend has taken control of Kennywood, or are about to take control of Kennywood and other Palace Entertainment parks.
Powerful.
I love that word. Look at me. I'm already talking down. That's 2 words. But they have taken over the Palace Entertainment parks in North America, which also includes Idlewild, Wild Adventures, Storyland, Lake Compounds, and Adventureland in Iowa. So what do you think that means for Kennywood's Steel Curtain roller coaster? Because
it's
specifically,
I have my thoughts. But yes, what does this mean for Steel Curtain? Is she gone? Is she gone?
Oh, she's not gone.
She's gone.
Because I think, we might realize that, Steel Curtain was a big, big investment. It's kind of like, Dollywood, Kennywood, and also Dollywood at this point. Next big thing, So it's like, I think they're going to invest into it until they got it right. And also, I think it sounds like a lot of manufacturing fault. So I don't think the company is spending a lot of money on fixing it. I think it's a lot of, holding SNS responsible for the issues with the ride.
We love SNS. We were so excited for this coaster. And
what happened?
SNS has had a lot of wins, but they have had a lot of failures. This calls back the linear Gale, or what was it? Gale Force. That's
Gale
what it is.
Force.
Gale Force in New Jersey, where they had to completely rebuild the ride.
Yeah.
And now we wrote it, and it's awesome. It's a fantastic ride, but we're like, well, we know why they didn't sell more of these, because the first one was a fiasco, and they had to completely tear it down and rebuild it. And so that's what this is reminding me of.
Mm-hmm. So is Steel Curtain then worth saving?
Oh, 100%.
I think absolutely.
I think layout-wise, it's awesome.
It has so much potential.
I have a lot of questions on how any of that even went wrong, because when they build Max Force in the same, I call it same time frame, same era.
Max Force is perfect.
Great, runs well.
When it runs.
No issues with supports. It's a launch coaster. So the launch always going to be the individual factor. That's usually the operational, downside. But it runs great, and I don't see a single problem. And then you ride the jackhammering Steel Curtain situation, and you're like, well, what went wrong?
It's heartbreaking.
See, I'm not I am sensitive to that thing to that kind of thing when it comes to specific rides. But for Steel Curtain, that never bothered me. Anytime anybody was talking about jackhammering or vibrations, and so I never felt that as much on the ride. I don't know what it is, but it's just that kind of stuff never seems to affect me the same way, as much as positive forces affect me really bad. We talked last week about Hulk, and how I think that's a total skip at Islands of Adventure now, just because it's too much.
2 hours ago.
But you just wrote it.
Yeah, it came from there. Yeah.
So it's not a skip for you.
No.
It's a skip for both of us.
It is a skip for both of us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's too. Those positive forces are way too much for me. I gray out every time. I don't like graying out, and I don't think the elements are fun enough to justify my body having to go through those kind of forces. Whereas I think something like Alpengeist is I will put my body through Alpengeist too. I think
that Busch Gardens.
I consider Alpengeist to be like the inverted Hulk. Even the
They're
snappiness
so
of the
similar
cobra roll,
when we think
you know?
about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I totally I feel the exact same way. Like if I were to compare it to anything, like layout wise, sure, there's a lot of the same elements, but like you can't beat the view from that drop, that twisting
Yeah.
first drop. It does have some interesting elements of its own though. Like, I mean, you have the barrel roll, you have everything after the brake run feels so much better than anything after the brake run on Hulk. And I just
Totally.
think that it's a much more fun layout with little quirks here and there that do feel different because the sensation is different because you're below the track instead of above, that I can justify putting myself through those forces. Whereas Hulk, I'm just kind of like, eh.
And just in general, like I don't know, I stopped riding Hulk because it's so shaky. And I recently rode Alpengeist for like the third time in my life, like a couple years ago, and I did not have that problem at all on Alpengeist.
Yeah. They're like, they're just like, taking this all, and they're like, what are we getting ourselves into?
Hulk
with
is
this
my
podcast?
emotional support roller coaster. I ride it all the time.
Wow.
Like when I'm on call for work, like I am at Islands of Adventure with my suitcase in my trunk in case they send me somewhere. And as long as the line is short, because I need to be able to answer my phone in any given 20-minute window, in case I get called. So that's
For me, Hulk is not that deep. You know, it's like, you know, if there's a line, then I'm probably like, skip, like, catch me
I
not
don't
in
want
the
to
line
wait
from
line for it
Hulk.
either. But I've
Terrible
written it
line,
down.
by the way. If we're gonna talk
The
about terrible
bad
lines,
experience.
it's like a bunch of bass and like nothing to look at. No,
the bass drop,
no,
but
thanks,
nobody's
Princess.
dancing.
It's giving Six
Nobody's
Flags.
dancing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's like a little Six Flagsy. Yeah. But I mean, I love emotional support roller coaster is an interesting thing because I feel like that ride, Demi, I described it last week, is like it throttles me in a bad way. Like I want to be throttled within an inch of my life in a good way, not a bad way. And that one does it in a bad way. So Alex likes to be throttled within an inch of his life as his emotional support. Yes, there we go.
Tough.
Yes, confirmed. But getting back to Steel Curtain, like I have heard other people say that as well, like the jackhammering and the vibrations, but that doesn't bother me with the ride. I just think purely like, and this is what we'll get into in a little bit, I think it really exemplifies, it's more spiritual with me for Steel Curtain. And I know it's, you all obviously understand what it means to have pride in a certain park, whether it's a park you grew up going to or Magic Mountain for you, or like it, you know, everybody has their park that is that special place in their heart when they're growing up. But I think that Kennywood is so interwoven within not only local people, but the geography, the history, the culture of Pittsburgh itself. And if you don't grow up here knowing that or experiencing that, it's kind of hard to communicate. But I think the problem that I constantly have with Steel Curtain is not only, I think it's a fun ride. Like I do. I think it's my number 2 in the park. Like I think it's better than Thunderbolt. I think it's better than Jackrabbit. Like it's my number 2 in the park. But it's something about its mere presence just so visually exemplifies everything that is wrong with Kennywood right now. Like I referenced this video last week with you, Demi. Like I remember sending my friends, Emma and Cassie, like I was bitching to them. I was at Kennywood and I was just like bitching to them about Kennywood in this text thread. And I was like, I could not say anything that does justice to what I'm saying more than this video I'm about to send you. And I zoomed in on the racer and it's like this 100-year-old roller coaster, like beautifully reflecting on the water. And then you just zoom out and the Steel Curtain is like right next to it. And it looks like a roller coaster that someone designed for their first time on Roller Coaster Tycoon. And it just looks silly. And I think it's hurting the image of the park, not only in that sense, but it's hurting the image with locals because everybody here, and that's Kennywood's demographic, is locals. It's not people going to Cedar Point. It's not people going to Dorney Park. It is locals. And that's something that I think Palace forgot.
Yeah.
And
I want to post it in our stories. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want for our listeners to like kind of get an understanding. Yes. But imagine it's like this bright yellow,
Literal
ugly
Yellow supports.
Steel Curtain.
color.
colors, yeah.
next
If it
to
was
this
black supports, that
beautiful-
would be one thing. Yellow supports, black track.
Yeah.
It's so ugly.
It's so ugly. And it's like this, it feels like this sort of, for lack of a better term, we know we love Disney, but when people use the term like Disneylandification of something, I feel like this was Palace's idea of like, oh, Pittsburgh people love the Steelers, so let's just throw this garish, hideous, ugly Steelers country onto this 120-year-old park that has nothing to do with the soul of this park. And I think that because it has damaged the park's reputation so much, I think Herschend's ripping that bit. I almost said ripping that thing out. Like, I think that.
I mean, okay,
they didn't spend the money on it. I know SNS is covering some of the costs with that, but like, it's done too much damage to Kennywood's reputation. And if it has the slightest problem this year, she's gone.
I honestly, I'm not so sure about that, because if there is a company that loves building flashy steel coasters these days, it's Herschend. I mean, they have a really nice collection between Dollywood and Silver Dollar City with, limit pushing modern roller coasters, including stuff like Time Traveler. They were some of the first to really push the RMC agenda. And so I think now with Steel Curtain, I think what they're going to do is pretty much apply the same ideology they have applied to Kentucky Kingdom, and is they're going to take these really ugly roller coasters, because Kentucky Kingdom is super ugly, like ugly place, ugly park, like super ugly. Easy. And so they're going to, and now they're like, oh, let's retheme the whole area, and like, let's make all these ugly coasters and like retheme them to like a Wildwood something, like the woods, what is storm chase, it could be wind chase or whatever that means, so it's like, I think we're gonna see a Steel Curtain, but we're gonna see a different color and a different name, and I don't know what butterfly theme they could throw on it.
Maybe they'll give up on the Steelers country,
which is enough for me. That's all I need.
Steelers country. I don't think many people would miss Steelers country.
They haven't even. So that's the other thing. They haven't even finished it. I remember we were doing there were previews for this massive indoor section that they were going to have. That was like an indoor play area. Like, it actually looked really cool outside of the Steelers theme. They never opened it.
And they never opened it.
7 years. They've never opened it. I'm like, how hard can it be to finish this? And I think they gave up on this land. I don't know why they haven't changed it yet, but I think that I understand what you're saying with Herschend's initiative. I love, by the way, you called it pushing the RMC agenda, which makes it sound like a political attack. I love that. But I don't think they're not the ones who made the choice to put this coaster in here. So I think they're inheriting not just a little, they're inheriting a huge problem. And I think if the ride puts up any more of a fight this year, I don't think they're gonna deal with it.
It's totally possible. You could be very right.
It could be very right, but I will say I also don't think Herschend's a stranger to problematic rides. I mean, we're talking
They've
Lightning
been very
Rod.
patient with Lightning Rod.
We're talking Mystery Mine having to get a layout change. Like, we're talking about. I mean, this company, is not
Powder Keg. They moved heaven and earth to save what of the investment they could on the water coaster at Silver Dollar City to convert it into Powder Keg. They are more patient than most when it comes to making a problematic ride work to the best of their ability. The problems with those rides were not structural. The problem with Steel Curtain, I think, is structural. I think it has to do, it's the hill that it's on. It's the hillside. It's the, because I heard many, many years ago from a source that it was the reason that they didn't build the RMC over the hill was because it was unsafe. They found that ground could not hold it. So I think they're running into the same issue with Steel Curtain because the forces are too great. And I don't think that's a problem you can fix by changing a launch lift hill to a chain lift. And just some of the other things that I want to mention about Kennywood before we go on is, because I do have my issues. Like, I mean, pricing, $74.99 gate price. Online is $59.99. Compared to Cedar Point, gate price $90. Online, $50 to $54 throughout the summer. That is crazy. The general upkeep of the park over the years has been horrible, Demi. The other thing I showed you recently, the 100-year-old pagoda with Philadelphia Tobacco Company dragons on the side of it, like a historic landmark. They have painted bright red and put a big sign on it that says Red Hot Sausage. Like, right next to Thomastown.
You can't make it up.
What are you doing?
Sausage.
No, when I sent Demi this image, it was just like, this has to be a joke. So it's just like they're splashing just this tacky corporate sheen on this park that is so ingrained in this city's history. they're getting away from the soul of this park, and I think that Herschend is going to, they understand what makes parks work
100%.
on like a spiritual level, and I am so happy that they are taking over here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I totally think this is like a significant improvement, and like you said, the corporate tackiness. I mean, it's a syndrome that's happening all over. You know, like United Parks Entertainment, previous SeaWorld Parks Entertainment. We're just talking about it today. It's like same story. It's just, you know, it seems like a downhill situation for years. But I do think Herschend is probably the best possible operator to be coming into Kennywood, because they don't really focus on that corporate look. I mean, their whole point is to be pretty much the opposite of the corporate look. You know, Silver Dollar City is still feels like it's a million years old, and like in a good way. You know.
Yeah.
So no, if anything or anyone's going to restore Kennywood to more of a classic feel, but just shouldn't be very hard because there's so much vintage already there. It just requires a little bit of upkeep. I think Herschend is the right company. Yeah, I do agree with that.
I think Palace, I mean, some of the stuff that has been happening with Kennywood in the last few years is, I think, just symptomatic of what has now happened, where the chain basically folded. Like they've been acquired. You start seeing things happening in parks that are not indicative of health and flourish and profitability, and it's almost it's like the calm before the storm. It's like this is not a good forecast for the future of the chain of this park. And Palace has always been, in my mind, kind of inconsistent, because we have really enjoyed all of our Kennywood visits, and I think every visit to Kennywood I have ever had. My first one was in 2005, so I guess it's... When did Palace acquire Kennywood?
2007.
Okay, so my first visit was pre-Palace era, but ever since then, it's been Palace, and I've always really enjoyed the park. I've not been honed in on the individual, like the minute details, the little nuances that have changed over the years, and then our last visit was several years ago.
2021?
So,
June 2021?
Yeah. We went for that food festival.
Yeah.
You survived. Oh my God, you survived. Demi, let me just tell you, I would die at seeing a Magical Hygiene's food review of a Kennywood food festival.
Oh, take me.
You would
Okay, but those Taiwanese pancakes were so good. Though.
Yeah, they probably got them at Trader Joe's, but they were good.
Oh, it's like the Italy Pavilion at Epcot.
Demi, it's worse than the Italy Pavilion. It's so bad.
It's fine. It's the one pavilion we always skip.
Italy
Pavilion and American Pavilion, but like, you know, Italy Pavilion.
And then one thing I do want to say about Steel Curtain, little justice for Steel Curtain. I know that the look of it is jarring. I chalk a lot of that up to the paint scheme, because that is a very brave. When we were there admiring, for lack of a better word, the paint job, it reminded us a lot of first generation X at Magic Mountain with the yellow supports and pink track.
I like that.
And the support structures are very similar, because, you know, this is just a grandchild of X when you think about it.
True.
And
I liked the pink and yellow though on X.
I always called it pink lemonade color palette.
I liked it.
But everyone hated Steel Curtain and had completely valid reasons. I didn't understand the name. I was so confused by what that meant. I was like draperies. I'm too gay for this. I don't know anything about football. I was like, what does this name even mean?
See, I didn't even know until this podcast episode that we're doing that this had anything to do with Steelers and that's football. So.
I mean, let's be honest. Who seems a roller coaster of that grandeur to a freaking football team?
I mean, they're proud of the Steelers. So, like,
I just can't relate.
I get it. But one thing I will say is that what people are saying about Steel Curtain and, like, the weirdness of it and the size of it and the way that it is a huge glaring distraction from, like, Kennywood's soul. Baby, people said that about Steel Phantom. When they built Steel Phantom, it was like, how can you do this to Thunderbolt? How can you do this to the charm of the park? Like, what is this ride? And then it opened and it beat the piss out of people there. And it's like 5 years or so. And people were like, oh my God, they ruined the vibe. This giant, ugly, painful roller coaster that no one likes. It's so, like, why would you do this? You literally dove into the superstructure for Thunderbolt, and you had to do all this work on this vintage wooden coaster to, like, accommodate this monster ride that is painful. And now it's like, well, it's the best right there. Like, You get used to it after a while, I guess.
I think there's different things. And I know we have other things that we definitely want to talk about too. So the last thing I'll say is that I think what you're saying is when there's one bit of apprehension about what's something that has been consistently good for the past 70 years at that point, or I'm sorry, what was it, 90 years at that point, has been consistently good. One thing like that, like you kind of give it this family-owned place their chance, and then they 4 years later build something like Lost Kennywood, which is amazing. And it's like, so a blip can turn into something that is iconic and legendary. Like Phantom's Revenge is now part of Kennywood's soul as much as anything else is. But I do think, though, like the Steelers thing, like what you're saying, that is like a perfect example of the two things that are at odds with Kennywood, of like this place that comes in and wants to be like, we're going to appeal to the locals and we're going to get, which I'm assuming, a bunch of money from the Steelers to make this. That's the only reason this roller coaster is here, because the Steelers probably agreed to fund some of it. You're going to appeal to locals by having a Steelers theme, but you're going to do it in this giant garish way that ruins the thing that everybody who goes to Kennywood knows Kennywood for. So it's like those two things are just at odds with each other, and proves that they don't understand their product.
But can I ask, like, do you think that it's even working? Do you think like Steelers fans that aren't maybe particularly theme park people are going there specifically for that attraction?
No.
Right.
Absolutely
It sounds like a high school theater program trying to get the football players to come see their show by doing like Damn Yankees or something like that.
That is a perfect
That's
example.
a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
God,
And actually, I just want to bring up really quickly, since this is one of the I just thought of it since we're talking about it. Since Dutch Wonderland is also a part of this Herschend deal, I just recently went for the first time this year, and Merlin's Mayhem is also one of these. It's not as harsh looking as Steel
Is that the
Curtain.
inverted coaster?
Yes.
Also SNS.
Okay.
And it's like a really tame, like it's like your kid's first big coaster, right? And I did it, and it was like so slow. It's going like 20 miles an hour. But like it sticks out like a sore thumb, just like Steel Curtain. It's like not as horrible, but it's also that it has that yellow track. It's bright yellow, bright blue. Oh my gosh. And it just makes me want to know, like with all of these now parks that are going to be, acquired for Herschend, like what do you think, which park do you think is going to benefit the most? And is it Kennywood?
Probably Kennywood will benefit a lot, because that's where there's the most to lose.
I do want to say one thing about the acquisition that kind of changes my whole kind of look at this situation, is that, previously it was like, okay, we have like two parks, and then we got Wild Adventures, we got like a third park, and Wild Adventures got, a benefit out of Herschend. It looks nice, it's kind of manicured, it's not great, but it's fine. And then, now they're working on Kentucky Kingdom, but now they're acquiring a whole chain. And so it's like, well, they're not that big of a company. And I know they have good capital because they were able to acquire that part of Parque Escondidos. But how much are they going to be able to focus on all these parks right away? Like, are we expecting something that we won't see for a while? Like, what's realistic for Herschend to do to all these parks right now?
I think they're going to spin off Wild Adventures. I don't think they're keeping that. Like that, they haven't invested in that park in... I mean, even
they're very small investments.
It's
very small.
Like, do we think that they're going to keep that place? I don't think they're going to keep that place.
I mean, they have been.
They're not publicly traded. It's not as much of a need for like shareholders.
Very slightly over the years. We went and had a nice visit, and I don't even know if there's anything in their lineup. I will say that it was a bigger company than I realized, because I saw a before and after chart of the things, and they own a lot of extracurricular stuff.
Yeah,
they own aquariums. They own
Always stuff. Yeah,
they own like 8 different things in Pigeon Forge alone. They're a very diverse company. They have a lot of different kinds of assets, almost sort of like a Merlin type thing, but like smaller and better. So I have faith that this is a jump, but not more than they can chew. And I have faith that they're going to keep everything that they've got on their plate, and that it's not going to be a headhunting thing. And that I think it probably, Sean's probably right. I don't know if it'll be obvious in like the first couple of years, as far as, especially for parks that don't necessarily have a whole lot of like
competition.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think that's why Wild Adventures just kind of looks like, they haven't done much. Well, like keeping it up to date nicely. Like they're repainting the rides all the time.
I will say Wild Adventures is probably...
it's a pretty nice park, but there's not much competition. So like they make their profits just by existing. They don't need to add new rides to
their conference series.
Like Michigan's Adventure, I guess,
Totally.
kind of this chain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a quiet little money printer. It doesn't print a lot, but it doesn't need a lot either. It's basically like a theme park equivalent of a succulent on your windowsill.
Ours is dying actually downstairs.
I water our succulent. Thank you very much. Our succulent is fine.
Your Wild Adventures is dying. It needs water. It needs water.
It needs some Herschend. Like
Herschend, there's a succulent that needs some attention in that household. When you almost said Kennywood again, I thought Demi's head was going to explode because Demi is like regretting suggesting that I finally do my Kennywood topic.
No, I'm just kidding. No, well, you know, it's a park that I don't know anything really about until I met Joey, and
You're coming this summer.
I'm gonna make my best to do that, and you know, and I didn't realize like how much love like obviously has in the community, but like how it really has reached so many people past it, and so I love to hear that you guys are, you know, have all these opinions and you know go there like as like a destination, and you know want to see it flourish again, because that means that there is something in that park that is worth saving.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and a lot of what we're talking about reminds me of what's going on with the Six Flags and Cedar Fair merger and the impact that still has a year later. I mean, Demi's beloved King Dakar, which we have talked about every episode that we have done. Also, Lava Bora, like so many rides across the chain are victims of this merger. The latest being, sadly, Superman Escape from Krypton at Magic Mountain, which we were just talking about earlier. So do you think it was time for that ride to go?
Absolutely.
I think it was time.
I mean, like, I don't know how deep you guys know about our love for Magic Mountain, but that's where we met. I mean, I lived on Magic Mountain Parkway when we met. Like, Magic Mountain is like our like whole background together.
Magic Mountain tattoos.
Yeah, Magic Mountain tattoos. Like, it's a lot, you know.
Ninja
like,
is my coaster. And
they're on our ankles, actually. Yeah.
They're on our ankles.
So, but this is maybe the one ride where I was like, it makes sense, man. It's been making
It's closed
sense.
so much.
It costs so much to operate, and what you get out of it is like
super inefficient.
Week launch of like half of the tower.
I wrote it in 1998, and I was like, this is really cool, but I was 6, and now it's like it's time. It's time. If this is a world where King Dakar can bite the dust, then like Superman does not belong.
Right behind.
She never had a chance.
No,
she didn't have
not a chance in the world.
That kind of hurts my heart knowing that like when we were 6 it was great, but like later on it wasn't, because I've always wanted to do this one. Like it's always been one of my like coaster bucket list ones because it's so iconic.
Because it's big, and that's about it.
But even I mean, like the park map, I think in like 2014 or 2015, the park map even said it was like mid-sized thrill or like thrill seekers in training. They listed that under, you know, they marketed it to families. It was a lower height limit because the new restraints, I believe, after, you know, the 2011 relaunch. And then, you know, they listed it for years under like the family-ish sections of the, not like high thrill or
Part
extreme,
of the reason they had to do that was because super thrill seekers would look at it and think, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. You ride it, and it was kind of disappointing.
I wrote it also when I think I was 11 when I wrote it, and I remember
me too. My first time forwards was 11. I was 11. I was on vacation in America and wanted to ride it so bad we went to the park. And then, it was so cute.
Us.
Yeah.
Where's our Magic Mountain tattoos?
Where are they, Joey?
My other ankle. Getting it. But I remember being so scared to ride it. I was literally in tears. And my dad always told me when I was younger, like my brother was very different with rides growing up. Like my brother was so terrified of rides, and my dad never made my brother go on rides. And I remember one time asking him, I was like, why did you always force me to go on the rides, but you'll never force Nikki to go on the rides? And he's like, because I know deep down you want to ride them. You're just getting in your head about them. And I'm like, so I credit my dad a lot with getting me on some of these rides.
Cute, actually.
I remember bawling my eyes out. I was so scared. And then after I did it, it's like you did the big, loud, crazy 400-foot tall, 100 miles per hour roller coaster. But then it's like, I can't imagine going on that ride again as an adult. And because I remember what it felt like. And as an 11-year-old, it feels pretty cool going 100 miles per hour. But like once you do King Dakar and Top Thrill Dragster, like doing 120 in 3-4 seconds, like it's a little. It's and like you said, the expenses that went into that, the electric bill for that ride.
I know. It made no sense to operate it.
Yeah,
it made no sense.
It's so funny because like when I wrote it, my parents were so scared they weren't going to ride with me. I was 6. They were going to send me by myself. They're like, we'll wait in line with you, but we're not going to ride it. And then the family that my parents found to sponsor me, to ride with me, coaxed my parents into riding all of us together. My parents had to be convinced because they were afraid it was going to feel like a drop ride. and they're like, they rode Drop Zone at Great America the year that it opened, and both of them were like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. And they were like, nope, we're not going to ride Superman. Nope.
This
So
is
when
the
you say
most-
coaxed,
Yeah.
do you mean tricked?
Like, well, they were, and my parents were fine with it because once they
Oh, okay.
wrote it,
All right.
the family that was adopting me for the ride explained to my parents that it did not feel like free fall,
Yeah.
which was still open at Magic Mountain at the time, and I did ride that by myself.
I mean, let's be fair. It looked like a giant blown-up version
Yeah.
of Intimate Freefall.
My parents had every reason
Yeah.
to think like, oh, this is going to feel like a 400-foot drop tower, and this family convinced my parents that that was not how it felt, and they were right. So
Those, Demi, have you ever ridden one of those original like Intamin drop towers? Those little like the
No.
demon drop at Cedar
Dorney
Point.
Park.
Oh yeah, just
No.
at Dorney now.
No, because when I only went to Dorney. I haven't been back to Dorney in a long time, so I'm now like, give me all the thrills. But when I was young, I was like, don't make me go on anything too scary. So I haven't. So I'm like making up for lost time now.
Those things are still, I think,
The
some of the
scariest.
scariest rides. Like they still freak me out.
You have to ride them a certain way. Like I made the mistake of being too deep in conversation on one of the ones in Japan, and I slammed the hell out of my side of my head. You know, because you fall onto your back, and I was not paying attention. I'm chatting, and then like smacked the hell out of my head. Yeah, it
Was
was
that in
bad.
Himeji? Or...
No, it was at Nagashima.
Oh
sure?
yeah, because they have one there
Yeah.
too.
Because I thought Nagashima was the one they made all
Oh,
the
no,
Americans. Nagashima, they made the Americans ride by themselves because they said we were too fat to ride in the car or four with other people.
No, I rode with you on the Nagashima one, but
But it was just two.
It was in it
They
was
were
in
making us
Himeji,
ride in
yeah.
groups of two max because we were Americans, we were too heavy. Himeji Central Park, they didn't care. I remember there was four of us riding that. It was the bright yellow one. And I remember that one really, they always feel like car crashes, even on a good
it's
day.
like-
But Himeji's was
Sitting
especially.
in a trash can down the stairs.
It was,
Yeah.
metal trash can down concrete stairs.
My
but in a
dad
good
had to
way.
go to the hospital
Yeah.
after one. He
Yeah.
well, not like he went to a doctor's appointment the next day. It didn't go to the hospital, but it
I
was
mean, still, yeah.
Mr.
Yeah,
what
part for the
was
course.
The one at Geauga Lake was Dr.
Mr. Hyde's Nasty
Nasty
Fall.
Fall. Yeah. He,
Oh, you went to Jaga Lake? Oh, jealous.
Oh, Geauga Lake was, let me just tell you, that the Demi, this is another episode idea that I have, because did you know there was a SeaWorld in Ohio?
No.
An official SeaWorld in Ohio right across the lake from this park called Geauga Lake. And Geauga Lake was a dump. I remember it was a dump when I grew up, but we would to the point where we would only go to SeaWorld across this giant lake. It was an official SeaWorld park. It was a full-on SeaWorld. And they had rides. They had a Mission Bermuda Triangle simulator. They had they didn't have a coaster, but they had Shamu, all that stuff. And then Six Flags bought Geauga Lake, built up the rides, and then acquired SeaWorld across the lake and turned it into this super park. And Geauga Lake turned into one of like the most fun place. Like I loved Geauga Lake as a kid. It was so much fun. There was even rumors that they were going to build a hyper coaster over the lake. And then Cedar Fair bought it and just started selling off, or not selling, but moving off all those rides to the other parks, and then just mixed it. So
actually, our biggest episode we've ever had, like our most listened to episode, but like a significant margin, is we do like a incredible deep dive into Jaga Lake, and that was kind of like the little title is
It's a
too big to
fascinating
thrive because there was
history.
just,
We
It
did
wasn't
once we
sustainable,
started doing
but-
research for this podcast.
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
we had
Yeah.
it's like a little project. Yeah.
Demi, we should do that, and maybe we'll have y'all back and talk
Oh, we'd
about
love
to.
Oh my God.
SeaWorld of Ohio if you want to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because it
So down for this?
It's it was such an interesting place.
Yeah.
You could wait. So y'all had never been to the SeaWorld or Geauga Lake?
No, neither. No, we just
Oh, okay. It was such a weird vibe. It was such a weird vibe in both places because SeaWorld just felt so weird to have in like the Midwest. It just felt so awkward, but also so right. I mean, they had like the specific experience I remember that was really cool was they had the Japanese pearl diving still, like they do at most of the SeaWorlds, but they had it right on this big lake. So I think it was actually built into the lake where they were diving into the lake for the pearls, but like it was enclosed somehow. It just had such a weird, cool, pretty vibe to it. And it still shocks me that
I mean, it was a weirdest SeaWorld concept, and it wouldn't have lasted anyway because the fact that they were like flying in the orcas for the season and then you're shipping
By
it back to the
helicopter.
other
They would
parks.
hang from the helicopter.
Like they would
and
come
would
into
fly
like a
them
nearby
across country.
airport with like in a container in an aircraft, and then they
Demi.
would be like lifted
There's
into
pictures,
the pools for
yeah.
the summer, and then like after the summer they would be lifted right back to Florida.
Flying
there's
orcas.
pictures.
Yeah.
Demi, there are pictures. You
Different
need to-
times, man. Different times. Yeah, I cannot do that again.
How?
I wish I would have thought of this for
Why?
our weird theme park stuff. episode.
Oh my
Weird
God.
theme
I
park
learn
stuff,
something
part
new
2.
on every episode of this pod, man. And sometimes I wish I didn't learn about them.
Last week it was Mariah Carey on the roller coaster at Playland. This week it's
Oh yeah,
flying whales going
Flying-
to
music video for
SeaWorld, Ohio.
fantasy, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, a fantasy. Demi
how
didn't realize
did
that.
they have enough water to transport these whales?
Oh, you put them in a container filled with water.
Yeah, you just put them
In like a little
bath.
bed. I mean, it's all kind of sad.
They're mammals, so like they're just breathing.
And then you just like spray them with water to make sure they
you
stay
just gotta
wet.
keep them a little wet. They don't have
Yeah.
to be submerged.
And then you put them on a truck to the park, and then you lift them up with a crane.
They
and put
would
them in the
bring
water.
them back and forth between Cleveland and San Diego
I know.
Or-
every winter.
Yeah, or or
evil.
Florida, whatever.
Yeah, once the
SeaWorld,
Florida park opened. This
you
was only
know-
the second SeaWorld. Orlando's hadn't even been built yet.
Right.
In fact, up until 2015, the SeaWorld parks were routinely moving the killer whales around by like planes and trucks. Until the Coastal Commission of California decided that SeaWorld San Diego couldn't expand their whale exhibit if they moved the whales again or continue breeding. So that's when all the moving stopped. But it was actually quite routine. Yeah, there was a system. Yeah.
I see the social media clips that are cooking in Demi's head, like our voices over clips of the whales, like being transported in the
No,
sky.
honestly, like it just really makes me so sad. And
It's sad,
like,
yeah.
SeaWorld's really trying to take off the stink of all of the years of doing those types of things. And like I'm trying to root for them because I know they do a lot of good stuff too.
They do, yeah.
And like if they find an animal and they aren't able to go back into the ocean, like they keep them and pay for them the rest of their life. Like they're accredited just like Disney's Animal Kingdom. Like so there has to be standards, but like it's so hard
At least
to
they're
like
not Marineland.
Oh my God! Another episode, Joey.
That's another one.
Getting
Oh my god.
we got
What
stories.
is
We had buyer's
Marineland?
remorse for a park.
Oh
we
my
did not
God!
get
We have
into.
time for this, Demi?
have to learn something else.
No, Demi. So
Girl.
like this is like okay. So
Let's go.
Sorry, Demi, I didn't mean to.
No,
Oh, no.
you are not derailing me. I am here for this.
okay,
What is
so
Marineland?
I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to like killer whales in captivity because I was like a little SeaWorld boy as a kid. So let's just put it this way: that like the last living killer whale at Marineland was temporarily housed with the SeaWorld killer whale. They were taking care of the SeaWorld killer whale so poorly that SeaWorld pulled the whale back. And Kiska, which was the last surviving killer whale that has recently died, all her 5 babies lived in her tank with her and all died before her. And she was alone for like a very long time.
Yeah.
And then they have like a million, no, not really a million, but like close to 100 belugas.
Belugas.
And they all live in a small, like 3-tank
It's like
setup.
3
They use,
some neighborhood-sized swimming pools.
well, it's
It's
a little
awful,
larger than
Demi.
that. But yeah, and then
And
they're
it's still open.
the rate at which they are dying is like alarming. So that's like on the watch. I think Marineland's actually officially closed now though.
Yeah.
It's closed.
All
I thought it was
all
still
of the
open.
rides are closed. They have gone down to just animals, but the animal exhibits, all of them are equally terrible. There's like
Yeah.
the open graves full of deer for their like deer exhibit,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
like
yeah,
the bear is being fed like
They
ice
actually,
cream
I mean, this is a
and
long
food
time
and
ago, but there was a
stuff.
killer whale named Junior, and he lived in a warehouse
Cover
to be
his ears,
sold
Demi. Cover his ears.
to another park, and the killer whale Junior was never actually sold and died in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Because
It's
nobody
awful.
wanted Junior. This is, of course, I mean, we must say to the people listening, this is all a long time ago, but not the Kiska situation. That was recent. But,
Yeah,
that was more
Junior was
recent.
long ago. Moving whales around was like things in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But, SeaWorld has definitely changed for the
SeaWorld
better, but
is
Marineland never did
Made
change for the
huge
better.
leaps
Yeah.
and bounds.
Yeah. Marineland is just Marineland is awful. Demi is clinging to her emotional support. Dino-Rama,
In
dinosaur.
fact, I have to tell one more thing about Marineland. We got
do it.
admission on media passes to go, and it was so terrible that we actually wrote like a one-liner article where we said like we have buyer's remorse for media passes that were free because
Yeah.
it's so terrible. We're not reviewing
Yeah, I
the
was
park
like,
any
I've never
further
had buyer's remorse for something I got for free
because it was
but here
free.
we are.
We're like, we're not going to review it. We have buyer's remorse. Terrible. Don't recommend.
Yeah,
Period. That was
don't
pretty much
recommend.
it. The article was like 5 lines because I wrote a
Do
whole
not
article writing
yeah.
about all the deaths and all the
We were
situations going on.
procrastinating really bad.
And then I was like, you know
I wanna
what?
publish
Let's just
this.
publish none of this and just write like the buyer's remorse part and let it be. Like let her float off in the distance because we'll never see this place again anyway. But I need
It's sad because the coaster was good.
The coaster was
The
good.
Dragon
Dragon
was
Mountain.
Ooh,
Dragon
slay. She was slay.
absolutely incredible.
I have, well, no, I shouldn't say I have hope that she's going to open again because I don't want that place to open again. But
Well, if the animal situation's gone and a different operator comes in and takes the infrastructure to redevelop, I'll be willing
That
to
part.
ride her.
Yeah,
again.
that part. Demi,
That's an
Demi, are you
amazing
okay?
ride.
I'm just like sad now, guys. But
Well, didn't we talk about like good parks gone bad? I mean, this is a good
Yeah.
example.
I mean, this is-
Except Greenland was never good.
No, I love this. I
Yeah.
mean, like, if I don't know this, I'm sure many people don't know this, and it's important. It's like good to know all this type of things. I am kind of in a fetal position right now,
With
but
Dino, with the little
holding my
Dino.
holding my dino.
Moral of the
on
story
my
is that SeaWorld is the best that they've ever been because they are constantly being held accountable and they literally could not do any less than their best because otherwise they would get shut down.
They really screwed me.
Well,
Yeah.
now the problem is just their operations. And
Oh,
all
yeah.
that, because I've never been more angry at a park than I was at SeaWorld with their operations because
Yeah.
that one train on Icebreaker, are you kidding me? Like that, it just,
No,
I don't
SeaWorld
even
peaked,
wanna-
man, in like '09. Back when, like, before Harry
Yeah.
Potter,
Yeah.
like, was Disney's ticket to gold. Oh, sorry, Universal's ticket to gold, right? SeaWorld was like second in command, hands down. Like, SeaWorld had a lockdown. They were just had Aquatica recently opened. Discovery Cove was booming.
Yeah.
They were building Manta, which was
Manta
really
was
well integrated. That was like peak
slam
SeaWorld,
dunk.
right?
Yeah.
It was the
And
best.
I miss those days. I mean, like SeaWorld Adventure Parks, as they were called back then. It was like that was.
Peak.
I mean, that was peak. That was entertainment. That was quality theme parks. They were even attendance-wise second in command behind the Disney parks. Like they were doing good, and I miss those days. Like we were just watching a Manta commercial a couple days ago. We're like, oh my god.
Just
I
the
miss this
marketing
kind of
campaign for that
SeaWorld.
ride alone was a work of art.
Now SeaWorld is kind of like Six Flags with like an extra surcharge on food. You know.
Okay, so our pod also covers Disney and Universal, and both companies have a unique history with coasters. So, which parks of both companies have a better coaster offerings, and what would you most like to see added to both companies' portfolios in Orlando and California?
So this is actually probably an interesting topic because I think when we look at our personal top lists, we usually like our top 5 includes several Disney coasters, and I don't think it includes a single Universal coaster. And the reason is, and everyone don't turn off the podcast. That's because for me, and I think hopefully for Alex too, because we usually pretty like-minded, is that it's a total package thing, man. Like, not to lie, but you can ride a Velocicoaster. There's very many coasters that are just like it. Like, you can ride Batman in Madrid.
In Spain.
You can ride the Pantheon.
You can ride
in-
Taiga.
just hop over to Madrid. I'll do that tomorrow.
Oh, he's
Let me just
so
hop
mad.
over to
Uh,
Madrid.
Colonial Williamsburg.
or you can ride
experience the
Tout
run-of-the-mill.
Tatis in Paris. But when you look at some of the Disney rides, like Hyperspace Mountain in Paris, or you ride Tron, Light Cycle Run, even though there's 2, I get it. Yeah, there's 2. The overall package is great, and it just feels a lot more unique to me than a thrilling coaster like Hulk. Hulk, we've seen B&M loopers before. It's not new. You know what I'm
It's very
saying?
well
But the new
done, but
one's
it's
shaky.
not. Yeah.
True that, home.
One-
But I want to preface that I think generally speaking, I prefer Disney coasters, not because of the thrill, because I think that's a very one-dimensional look at it. I just like the package. Like the theming is always good. You got the show building filled with cool effects. That is an overall ambiance for me. And while from a pure coaster standpoint, thrill standpoint, Universal wins, right?
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
And
I would say
they've got
Disney is
great
the package.
coasters. Universal's got some strong coasters.
Of course.
in their
Hagrid being the strongest.
Yeah, Hagrid is
Yeah.
kind of
Ha ha ha,
the
Joey.
focal point for us. Velocicoaster is
This
good.
face. I don't know what's going on, but like,
Oh,
Oh,
this
you're
is
gonna
an
hear.
ongoing
Flying
fight
Dinosaur is
between Joey.
good. I know we're just talking about the
Oh,
U.S.
I
parks,
have
but
so
like
bad.
Universal's got some
No,
cool coasters.
I-
Battlestar Galactica is kind of like our personal brand. So like there's Universal coasters that we feel very, very passionately
100%.
about.
Yeah.
But like we love like Tron Light Cycle Run is our coat of arms. That's
you
what
cannot see it, but there's like a Tron right behind
we
us.
have a Tron. We're
Oh,
in the
really?
Tron room.
Wow.
We have a
in
whole
our
Tron
house.
room and everything.
The whole
Yeah.
room is Tron. The Shanghai Tron is like where I asked Sean to marry me with
Yeah.
like Tron themed engagement rings. Like it's the whole like that coaster.
The first is more
everything.
personal, I guess. I have a more personal relation with the Disney coasters.
And then
Like,
the
we
other
have a
one is
tattoo of
Hyperspace Mountain in Paris. We have the Columbia
Hyperspace
girl
Space.
tattooed on our arm.
So it's like,
Like,
When I went
Yeah.
to Paris, it was down for refurbishment.
No.
I'm
Sean's
and,
Oh my god, I have a
and-
story
Yeah.
here.
and Phantom Manor.
Oh.
I know it's like
Oh my god, my
didn't
first
know.
visit, both were down too. Remember
Yeah.
Phantom Manor was down?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
so
Sean's
my
first
first
visit
visit in
2018.
Oh my god, I sat on a rock in front of Space Mountain for 2 hours. So they were other stuff, and I was like mad, like almost like crying. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I came here for Space Mountain. And so here's what happened, right? Like we were at the other park, which was even worse back then. And then, we got Q dumped from Remy. Ratatouille. And so, like, we went as Americans, not as...
I had a
Americans.
scheduled American meltdown at customer service to get
and they
free
gave us Fast Passes for
Mountain
Space Mountain.
because they wasted our time at Remy, and then Space Mountain never opened.
Dream come true, right? And then sit there, and the ride never opened. It was super salt. Yeah. I feel your pain, Demi, and now it's like my favorite ride. And like maybe first, second.
We hated Disneyland Paris on our first visit together, and now we are annual pass holders.
We go all the time.
I have a question.
I love it there.
Did y'all see dead Michael Clark Duncan at the Armageddon?
Yes,
I did Armageddon.
I got to see. Yeah, I thought Armageddon. It scared me.
Validated.
That was one of Demi's weird theme park things a few weeks ago, and the ghost of Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
When he appeared on that screen, I was like, why is no one else freaking out that there's a dead man telling me about this attraction?
Bizarre.
Yeah. It was amazing.
That was really something.
Yeah.
We used to call that corner of the park like the Tyler family values part of the park because it was all Aerosmith and
Steven Tyler's daughter.
Liv Tyler themed attractions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like how much did they pay to have their own set?
Yeah, they just have like Don't Want to Miss a Thing blasting through that entire wing of the park because it was all thematically relevant to the attractions that were there.
Well, now I need to know, it's now closed, Rock and Roller Coaster over in Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris, and I rode it. It was horrible for me. How was it for you? Did you ride it?
Oh, the original?
You did.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the light show was
getting
such
punched
a
in the
cool
temple. Unironically, like
I
we
love
enjoy
that ride.
that ride. We don't have problems like that.
Do?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we love
God.
it.
It's like
Okay, so there
an
must
extra-
one thing must be mentioned is that first of all, I'm Dutch, so like Vacoma's in my veins. I will never tolerate a single hate for Vacoma. She's my neighborhood princess.
Yeah, Sean
and
was born
she gets
30
blown
minutes
up,
away
okay?
from the
She
plant.
is cute now. And second of all,
Yeah.
I really always have liked classic Vacomas. I think
Yeah.
that Rock and Roller Coaster was the better one
Like,
because
if you guys are,
I wrote that one before I wrote the one
at
here.
Park Asterix that everybody hates, we love
so
that
good.
ride.
They just got the new restraint.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
okay, 12,000.
So excited. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is
No, but I'm of
fun.
the opinion that the Walt Disney Studios Rock and Roller Coaster was always better because it had that cool light show and it had like every train had a different light schemes that would program a different light show for the concert that you were riding. I like that better.
Are you sure that wasn't just like what you were seeing after your head was being rattled?
I'm so tall that the restraints are actually here, so my head doesn't get affected.
So Sean is 6'5".
Yeah,
I'm 6'2".
sorry.
So like we ride these coasters and the harnesses work as intended. They sit on our shoulders pretty
Dutch
flush.
manufacturer, Dutch height.
And
Sorry.
so with the reskin of it to Captain Marvel and Iron Man, like we love it. We still love it.
Yeah.
We enjoy it.
Me and Demi are little shorties, so our
Yeah.
We love
heads.
that we can
Bang.
go to Paris and wait 5 minutes to ride a faster version of the Rock and Roller
With better
Coaster
operations.
at Hollywood Studios, which we haven't ridden in like over a year because
No,
it is
come on.
constantly breaking down and has an hour and a half wait and doesn't run as well.
But is it still rattly?
No, I mean it runs well. The one.
It's very intense, and there is one there. You do get like on the fan curve after the Sidewinder. There's definitely like a jolt there,
Oh.
like a good jaw realignment moment
Is it
there.
like an Iron Menace jolt at the end, or is it a?
We haven't ridden
I
Iron
haven't
Menace,
done Iron
but
Menace. It's for the summer.
yeah.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, we
I
find
wanna-
us. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, tell me. Wait, okay. I have never been to Dorney. I've always wanted to go.
I want to go too.
When y'all are gonna go, can you tell me? Because I
yeah.
live in I live
Oh,
in
yeah, let's all
Pennsylvania.
go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You live in
all go.
Pennsylvania?
I live in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Joe, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Kennywood is my home park. I live.
Oh, well,
in
that
Yeah.
part I didn't
I
know.
We really grew up in Pittsburgh. We just weren't sure,
I
like,
still live there, yeah.
you're a
here now.
citizen of the world, just like us. I wasn't
You're
sure
in
where you were
Pittsburgh?
living.
Okay,
I am
cute.
in Pittsburgh.
And I'm
So
only 2 hours from Dorney, so let me
okay,
know.
let's go to Dorney this summer.
It's funny because I am based in New York for work, but I'm actually leaving. But we're gonna go there regardless. Yeah.
No, but I think that this is a good segue into. We've talked about so much, and we definitely we're going to try to squeeze a little bit more out of you with our lightning round. So,
Yeah. Now that we usually do lightning round with our guests, but since you guys are both well versed in coasters, we wanted to give you a remixed coaster theme lightning round for this episode. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
okay, so first thing that comes to your head, don't think about it too long. Just say whatever comes to your mind. All right. So, what is the perfect roller coaster?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say
say it.
Dynaconda at China Dinosaur Park.
Great.
Because it is the 40 coaster perfected. It's super scary. It's intense. And it's like unique. It still manages to be unique. There's 3 of them, but it's like the more unique, better
It is
version.
the best one.
And like it's crazy. Like it's scary. Good. Scary. Yeah.
So you both agree? Same
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do it.
I like
Okay.
that answer better than mine.
Okay.
So.
If you could bring one defunct coaster back, what would it be?
Dragonfire.
Ooh. Yes. Spicy. I like it.
Why?
Hey, why not Big Bad Wolf? You cried over that one being closed.
I cried harder over Dragonfire. I was like 7.
Okay.
Dragonfire was mad scientist BS with the flying corkscrew and like all of this stuff going. I mean, that ride was chaos, and it was only open for a few years. But like, I would have loved to ride an aero corkscrew coaster with an airtime hill in between the flying corkscrew dive and a cobra roll. Like that ride was insanity.
Yeah.
And
Right.
for as long as I can really remember, I have dreamed of riding that ride. So that's the first thing that comes to
For me,
mind.
it's Dragon Challenge because I've never ridden Dragon
Oh.
Challenge. And we decided not to ride it because
You want Dueling Dragons
we
back. You
couldn't
don't want
make
Dragon
it.
Challenge.
Okay, Dueling
Oh,
Dragons.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
Well, if you could, or what is the worst current major roller coaster manufacturer and their worst ride?
Oh gosh.
Well, I mean,
oh,
Perla. Like,
Freaking what? Skyline Attractions.
oh, yes. Nothing ever runs.
Why are they in business?
Why did they wing a ring award?
How
I-
how after the Skywarp and that whole fiasco with Harley Quinn's Gravy Train and that thing at SeaWorld,
Tidal
whatever
Twister.
it was called, and both of them were total fiascos. And then the Kid Flash Kid Coaster thing
are
and
also
both of
done.
those
Nothing
are
that ever
total
opened
loss.
is actually ran.
Why is this company in business?
Oh, that's right. I kind of forgot they even manufacture stuff. Yeah.
We're see, Demi, what did I promise you? We're getting it today.
Love this so much.
Okay, does B&M suck?
No. No, they don't suck. They're not great, but they don't suck. They're
Right
not the best
now,
manufacturer. They're not what
it's
they used to
like-
be.
I don't know
Incorrect.
what the explanation is. I've heard a lot of theories. I won't say they suck, but I will say I don't get excited about B&Ms now.
Because
Correct.
sorry, not to make it longer, not lighting around, but if we're gonna talk B&M, we have to talk B&M from day one to currently, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say 85% of B&M has been phenomenal. We've ridden some of the craziest, coolest wing coasters that are butter smooth all over Asia, and they cannot necessarily trust Shining Spark with great maintenance either. So there's something to say about the quality in their past. Currently, they're not the best, but to say B&M sucks is a little bit of like
I hope
a
this is just a
generalization.
rough patch for them.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I would
Incorrect.
like to. I like to hope that one day a B&M is going to open and it'll be like Return of the King.
I'm excited about to flap around on Reptera.
Yeah,
Like,
we can't wait
feel
for
those
Rap
wings,
Terrible.
baby.
Is what everyone is calling it now.
Get ready
And
for that launch.
Wrath of Rakshasa or whatever it's called. I'm
Oh.
like praying that ride is good.
Whatever
like,
one's
please
going
be
into
good.
over
'Cause
Texas.
It looks good, and I'm going to be
Oh
mad.
yeah.
The 300-foot one at Over Texas. Okay, and my final one. What is the most embarrassing coaster moment you've ever had?
Most embarrassing coaster moment.
Not really
Oh my God.
embarrassing.
There's probably some
embarrassing.
good ones.
What's it even mean?
I dislocated my wrist on the Wild Mouse at La Feria in Mexico City,
Oh
but I
my
have a trick
God.
wrist, so and I didn't want to go to like urgent care in Mexico City, so I just popped it back into place myself.
You nasty.
And my friends that were with me were like horrified.
I don't know if mine's embarrassing, but I had a bird strike
The
on
bird
full
incident.
throttle, and like during the launch, I hit a bird, and it hit me in the chest really hard, and it was dead, and it fell between me and the restraint, and I wouldn't want to touch it. It's a freaking dead bird. I was in pain. I was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, and I see this dead bird like on my lap, and it's like in the wind, and it was terrible. And then
Good.
like.
Are these what you
And,
dreamed
and
of?
on the final top hat, because this airtime, the bird just kind of came loose and fell to its death. Well, it was already dead. Or like at least, I mean, it hit me so hard. Yeah,
Green Lantern Final Flight.
like last fall, like last drop, and then I was like panicked, and yeah, that was
Which ride
done.
was this?
Full
throttle.
throttle at Magic Mountain. Yeah, and it wasn't really embarrassing. Maybe it was embarrassing. I mean, I killed a bird.
Yeah.
That's sad.
You made an animal die,
And then it like fell off my lap.
and then
Before I could show
it rolled
anyone.
around on your chest.
Yeah, it rolled around on my. I mean, it was like like backward launch, forward launch. Meanwhile, this bird is just down there, like on my crotch,
Talking about the evils of Marineland, and you have actually personally killed a bird.
Killed an animal.
in flight.
And
I haven't killed an animal at a park yet. That's only something you've done, unless it's like a bird, like bugs in my teeth or something on Millennium Force.
I mean, Mayflight. Yeah, Mayflight. Yeah.
Mayflies. Oh, I'm going in 2 weeks or in a month actually, and I just at the Mayflies. I can't.
I'm so excited for Siren's Curse. I could
Oh,
just
Siren's
ride.
Curse,
So
yes.
happy.
She's not.
Y'all
gonna
can
be
run.
opening
Y'all
day.
can run to Tuftsville too, and I will run to Siren's
Well,
Curse.
she's not going to be ready opening day.
But we'll be
yeah.
there opening day,
Yeah.
honey. We won't come back until the Tacoma's open.
Oh, well, I'm going to be
Yeah.
there opening weekend. Just saying.
Well, enjoy that. Actually, I didn't mean that to be sassy. I meant that like genuinely. Like, actually, have a cute time. Like, I love this for
Have
you.
a great time.
Like,
It's fine. It's fine.
much love, Joey.
Joey, I hope you have the best time when you go.
Yeah, I hope you have a Six Flags day.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I'm taking that right here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mwah.
Not a doubt in my mind.
All right, wait. Let's bring it back. Bring it back. A few more questions. Which major park has the worst coaster lineup in the world?
Ooh, which major park has the
in
worst
the
coaster
world.
lineup in the world?
I want to throw so much shade right now.
Okay, so do it.
Cedar Point. Listen.
Why would you say that?
Hold up.
Yeah, why would you say...
It's relative. It's all relative. The Cedar Point's B team is weak as hell. Send me to Kings Island any day because Kings Island B team is strong. Cedar Point's B team is not that strong.
You just invalidated any other point you just made on this podcast because you cannot be trusted, Sean. You cannot be trusted.
The worst coaster lineup in the world.
No, that's not
of like a major park.
I just feel
Maybe
like
the
relative to
most
the hype.
overrated coaster lineup in the world.
Overrated. Let's put it
But
that
like,
Okay.
there's like,
'Cause I mean,
think
like-
about Terramatica.
Yeah, but it's not a major park.
It
What is
is.
a major park?
It's huge. And
Yeah,
it's
that's a pretty
terrible.
big, that's a pretty major park.
What park?
Terramatica in
See,
Spain.
proof point-
Obviously,
point
it's
proven.
not that
It's not
big
my
of a
major.
park if I don't know what it is.
No, okay. Let's re-answer the question then. If it's not about being overrated,
Okay.
But like, what is a major park with a bad coaster lineup? Probably like
actually a good
Disney park
question.
or
I'm
something.
trying to, yeah.
Or like a Universal park with a shitty coaster lineup. Universal Studios Hollywood's not much right home about. What you got going on? Mummy and the freaking Hippogriff? That's a major park, 8 million people a year. And you got like Mummy and Hippogriff. That's
Yeah,
it?
but
Their
Fast and
mummy
Furious
sucks.
is coming.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's 2026.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what is a major park that like
I'm
I think you're
stressed.
right.
is
I think
really bad?
Universal Hollywood sounds
Yeah, Universal
right.
Hollywood sounds
Yeah,
right.
that's
Okay.
a good answer because
So at least, did I redeem myself
not
at least?
really a coaster
Yes.
park.
Am I once again validated? Okay.
Yeah.
It's
But
okay. English is not his first language, so we'll give it.
you know what? That is no excuse because
Sorry, babe. I tried.
what you just said about
He was
Cedar
so
Point-
excited to say Cedar Point.
I guess I meant overrated because I do stand by that, and I don't care what you think.
It is overrated,
Okay, I'm here for
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we're mad.
I mean, you want a tea, and it's really hot right
Really?
now. So
Yeah,
like,
it's boiling.
That's
I love
true.
it. I
That's
still
true.
haven't been to Cedar
Yeah.
Fair. Like it's like a huge bucket list for me.
It
but
does seem
clearly
like a
Joey-
exercise in excess and not so much like a celebration of quality.
Yeah. Well,
But-
what are your top 5 favorite coasters in the world?
Oh,
no,
man.
this is gonna be some.
We've already mentioned a lot of them. Danaconda's up there, Tron, Space Mountain in Paris.
Then it gets so murky. I like Batman a lot in Madrid.
Yeah, Batman, Gotham City Escape, Fujiyama at Fuji Q Highland is like my
Oh.
favorite hypercoaster.
Oh my god. No, this is a scary question because I had to go through like my Rolodex of coasters.
Yeah,
You know what? I don't actually have a list that
is
is ready to go, like a
default.
top 5, like most people. She's a big one.
Wood coaster in Shenzhen.
She's dead.
Well, so
She is dead.
we haven't recovered the body. She
Yeah.
might still be alive.
True. There is still ghosts.
Nobody has been down there yet since COVID, so we
Oh my
don't
god,
know.
Jungle Dragon. I love Jungle Dragon.
Oh yes, Shockwave Jungle
Oh.
Dragon at Nanjing Dragon Valley.
China, yeah, she
It's
good.
the Vekoma Shockwave, but it's
Yeah.
not like the one in Poland. It's longer. It has an extra corkscrew at the end.
It's actually shorter, but it has.
Oh yeah,
extra-
okay. It doesn't have that first half with like the little launch that like does nothing and then goes into the part with loops and stuff. It cuts out all the faff and then goes straight into the inversion portion. It has an extra corkscrew. That's a really good ride.
Okay. I think we've kind of answered this, but I still want to ask it because I think it's funny. What's your worst injury you've ever sustained?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I have another good one though. I mean, we had to leave Six Flags America in the middle of the day because I
that's
needed an
right.
emergency root canal.
Not because the park sucks, but
And
because of
I-
emergency,
yeah,
you know.
people will joke. They're like, "You're just using that as an excuse to leave Six Flags America. It's not that bad." And
You
I'm
don't
like,
need an excuse to leave that park.
and but it was the worst pain I've ever felt. Like I couldn't even see. Sean had to drive the rental car, and it got really bad on Roar. I'm not saying it was Roar's fault. That was just the straw
It
that
was
broke the
Roar's
camel's
fault.
back.
Oh my god, do I have an injury at a park?
I mean, the bird strike was not pleasant for you.
Yeah.
That hurt you a lot.
As a kid once,
physically.
I
What
like cut
kind
my
of bird
foot
was
open.
it?
It was like a little sparrow or something.
No, yeah, it was like how big was it? Like this big? I mean, it doesn't mean anything on the screen, you know, like on social media, but like, you know, it wasn't very big. It
The
fit
coasters that you got.
on my lap. It wasn't like a goose.
Wasn't
like
the
that.
Hurricane Coaster Image Essential? Didn't you cut your kneecap on that one, or was that me? On one of the bolts?
Oh, I've cut my knees on so many rides because I'm so way too tall.
Yeah.
Like every
There's
time there's like a
definitely
sharp
coasters
placard
we've
or
ridden
something, I
that were,
cut
like,
my leg on it.
They were so uncomfortable for him that he thought he was
life.
gonna like break an ankle or something.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese coasters do that to me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and then finally, who are your park peeps?
What does that mean?
Up for interpretation.
Yeah.
Our park peeps.
Oh, who I go with?
Each other.
Oh, yeah, we go with each
mostly.
other. We don't really go in large parties.
We are by invitation only.
Yeah. You guys are invited to do it.
You guys are our
At
park
Herschend
peeps
Park.
now.
I'm
Yeah.
here for this.
Because you guys are on that short list of people that we would like willfully spend an entire day with at a theme park.
Aw.
Diary of a Roller Coaster Girls are park peeps. We actually do go.
Yeah,
we
Mark
started
and Charlotte.
in Hong Kong Disney, Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Outside of Disney, went to Wonderland.
Yeah.
We go to London. We hung out with them.
Yeah. Diary of a Roller Coaster Girl and Mark,
Yeah.
her husband,
Okay.
roller coaster boy,
Yeah.
are
They're invited.
definitely our park peeps.
Yeah.
We will take that, and we will take the on-record invitation to Journey at Dorney. I really want to do that. I really, really
I
do.
do too.
Yeah, we will for sure. Yeah.
I was
Okay.
supposed to go last year, and then I got sick and I couldn't go. I really want to go back.
This summer we're doing it.
All right. Well, what an episode.
What a trip!
I hope it was everything you dreamed it would be.
It was even
And more. And
it was
more.
even more. We had to plug the little dinosaur's ears. We heard stories of murder in the skies. I mean, it was just absolutely a blast. Happy to know that you killed a bird via roller coaster. So, I mean,
It's funny because I'm like some animal like lover, vegetarian,
Hey, doesn't
vegan
eat meat.
prince, and then like I'm over here like killing birds in the sky. for
apparently
fun.
not.
No, apparently not.
We got to the point in the end. The episode was bad things happening to good parks, but clearly with y'all, it is a good time all around. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being
much
here
for
with
being
us.
Thank you for having us.
Really,
Thank you.
really appreciate it.
Yes, please come back. There's
Yes.
so much more to
Yes,
talk about.
for sure.
For the SeaWorld Ohio episode.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a must do. Well, unfortunately, Sal, has laughed her last laugh. Haha, woman. She is no longer a permanent co-host. She has contributed virtually nothing to this pod, mother, and she's been relieved of her duties. Bye. See you later, Mom. Don't come back. Bye. Love you so much. I love you so much. However, we never quit. Keep up with all of my theme park videos on YouTube at Magical Hijinks. That's HIJINX. And follow me on all socials at the same at Magical Hijinks. Also keep up with us at Park Peeps Pod everywhere on socials too.
And follow me at Joey Nolfi on all socials, and stay tuned for another new episode next Tuesday. Until then, live, laugh, Sal.
Mom, stop it. Stop it. Go away. You're fired.